Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, great.
Hello.
I am Maria Lukic, Secretary of the Commission of Women's Chess. Welcome today to this meeting with Jan and enjoy. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, first of all, and thank you all that you came to this session of ours. And what are we going to do today together? We will speak about how to play with stronger opponents and weaker opponents. It's basically the same thing from different angles. So I have put those two topics together. And how we will speak about it? Yeah, we will have a presentation and we will have some games. So I will very skillfully or not so very skillfully try to get from one program to the another. So sometimes it might be a bit confusing, but I believe that this is the way how we will get the best out of it. And yeah, you might ask yourself, like, why does Jan think that he's expert on exactly this topic? Yeah, okay, besides him being not such a bad chess player, let's say. Well, because I messed up so many times. Yeah, so sometimes I will show you games that are like in the category how not to do this or don't do this at home. Yeah, and by experiencing very painful experiences again and again, I have come to some conclusion, which I would like to present you. So let's start together. So I will share the screen and we will get into the presentation. Are we there? You should see two little characters, right? So how to play with a weaker or stronger opponent? Here you can see that you know in this situation both guys need each other in the cartoon and they also need each other in a game. So when someone is stronger, someone needs to be weaker. So that's very normal, and therefore we have this situation from both sides. First of all, we have to say that this is not a special situation. Yeah, normally it's more common than playing with someone with equal strength. Normally we think about chess as playing with, sometimes we might think about chess about like playing with someone with more or less that strong as me, trying to get better and better every time, just winning with my peers. That this might be the true on the very top. This might be the true at some championship, maybe. But when you have a league game or when you have first rounds of some open tournament and so on, you will get people or players that are much stronger than you or much weaker than you. So this is a very normal situation. I think that 2/3 of all games I am playing are normally with people of a very different strength. So yeah, this is how I have it. And yeah, okay, let's continue. Yeah. So first of all, before we go to the game, it's very important to try to work with our mind, cultivating our motivation, trying to change in a way of thinking the way we are thinking about the game. Because when I'm going to play the round 1 of some open tournament and I'm like seeded and the guy or the girl is like, I don't know, 400 elo points lower than me, of course, I don't feel, or most of the players don't feel extremely motivated. Yeah, why should they? Yeah, maybe they take it as some kind of unpleasant duty, or maybe, well, they just have to want to win as quickly as possible. They want to move on to other rounds and so on. So it's very difficult to hold your motivation in such a situation, as you will see in the game I will show you just in a few minutes. But I'm sure that we can work with that. First of all, I would like to prompt you to catch all these negative thoughts in your mind and try to reformulate them in some kind of a more positive way. For example, you are playing someone who is much stronger and you are fearing him or her, you might change this fear into a thought, okay, I'm going there, but I'm a huge underdog, so if I lose, more or less nothing happens. Yeah, I will lose 1, 2, 3 elo points, and yeah, everyone sort of expects it, so like no tragedy is happening. But if I win, that would be a tragedy for the opponent, right? Or that would be a nice thing for me. So I have so much more to gain and so little to lose. So this is a pleasant experience. Yeah. So this might be a way how to like totally change your state of mind going to the game. Or when you are going to a game where you are for example, this round 1 experience when you are just a huge favorite and your opponent, is not so strong to sparkle your motivation. You might, for example, think about what I'm doing. I'm, for example, thinking about this situation as a very pleasant one because, first of all, I can play chess, which is something I like to do, and I will play the game, not the opponent. So there might be many interesting things happening. Secondly, I might also uncover my evil side and say, okay, this guy or this girl, they are so frightened of me. Yeah, so I can enjoy that. I can go there and I can sit there and give a look, and they will probably have. They might have like more negative emotions than I, and I can use it in some moments. For example, playing something what a very strong opponent would try to refute, but these players might just, be too much afraid to go for it. Yeah, and when we speak about sparking the motivation, as you probably know, Mr. Bobby Fischer used very strange methods to sparkle his motivation. He was seen in his hotel room in an early morning saying, I hate him, I will kill him, about his opponent that round. Okay, this is not, we shouldn't go so far, but definitely just like thinking for 5, 10, 15 minutes about how great it is that we are going to play chess and that we are optimistic about the result, and yeah, we want to do our best, and it's a good thing to play chess, might help to crush some negative patterns which we have in our heads. Yeah, and how does it look when you get to the game with a bad motivation? I can show you. I hope I didn't show this last time, but we have like plenty of examples, so I can change that. But okay, anyway, this was an example where I simply played with a much weaker opponent, and I just, was so bored and didn't feel so much in a mood to play that I was just lazy to go normal e4, short castling and playing on the queen side. It was too boring for me, so I castled long, and then I played a c5, which doesn't really make any sense, and I was lost after 15 moves. Yeah, losing a very important pawn on d5, and then I start to work and won the game anyway. But basically, this is what can happen to you when you have very zero motivation. I have a bit of really unpleasant feeling that maybe you saw this game, so I can show you the beginning of a different game. For example, I was playing the second round in the Slovak championship against Mr. Giertli. And yeah, we have something in chat. Yes, okay. Against Mr. Giertli. And yeah, he came to the game like directly from the factory. He even like fell asleep in the round 3 because he was doing night shift. So really, he wasn't a professional at all. And the game looked like this. Again, my motivation was very low, and yeah, we played some kind of close Sicilian, and I just totally underestimated the opponent. Knight g4 is very optimistic, of course, or maybe not that bad, but okay. In the end, what I got after 20 moves was something like this. You know, I wanted to cry when I saw that. Like no development, no center, anything. Well, I was hoping that when I take 2 bishops, I will automatically win, but okay, this was definitely not the case. And exactly what was happening in myself is that I couldn't just find the energy to give 100% to the game. And yeah, we will come back to this game when we will speak about draw offers. So we'll just leave it like this here. But yeah, simply everyone has his or her own method, of course. But please just remember that doing this mental work before the game has some positives. Yeah, we all prepare chess-wise. We all travel to the playing hall. We all invest our time and energy to play. We also should invest a little bit in this type of mental preparation. Another thing I would like to suggest is to have a look at the entire situation from the bird's perspective. Yeah, of course, when you are playing a game, you are playing just a single game, and when it's a classical game, you are playing one or maybe 2 games, but you are just playing one game at once, and you want either to win it or draw it or whatever. But in the course of a year, you are playing maybe 50 games, 100 games. In the course of a decade, it's 500. Yeah, that's already quite a huge statistical sample. And in this 500 games, or you will play, I don't know, 200 games of, well, let's say 200 games against weaker players, and you should make some amount of points, let's say 150 points, yeah? That doesn't mean that you need to win every game, of course. You will win some, you will draw some, and exceptionally, you will also lose. And that's absolutely okay. So when you are playing this one game, it's absolutely okay that sometimes you win and sometimes you don't. Yeah, you cannot just, you know, push it. You cannot push the river. You cannot just go for maximum and win every game against the weaker player. That's simply not possible, and it's not even effective. You might lose more games than you would want if you choose this approach. So I think the best thing you can do is to be as a fisherman. Yeah, a fisherman also sits near to a lake or a pond and just waits whether the fish is caught or not. Yeah, he doesn't catch a fish every 5 minutes, and he's fine with that. But he knows that if he does everything what's like good and correct, he will get some fish eventually at the end of the day. Or if not, he will get some fish next day. Yeah, but overall, it will when he does the job properly, he will get the results. Distribute it maybe unevenly, but the sum will be okay. And this is also, please, how you might think about playing, for example, with a weaker player. Just do your job, and the results will come. Maybe you will not win this game, maybe you will not win 2 games in a row, but definitely that's not the reason why to do, for example, to take accessible risks, or why to, I don't know, get nervous when you don't get better very quickly, or whatever, any of those, yeah? So be like a fisherman, which means that you are patient and you have some kind of tranquility in your mind. You have a calm mind. You know that sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets worse, but overall it will work if you are doing your job properly. This is the state of mind which you can see with many great players. I have a example from Vladimir Kramnik's game. You can see this is the game against Salem Al-Saleh. And this is Kramnik being black. Yeah, this is what he has put on board, I think, in the last round of a huge open tournament where he would really like and love to win. But he just, you know, played his normal game. He exchanged the C and D pawns, gets a totally equal position. And how that ended, we will have a look together. So where are you? Yeah. So I can show the entire game. Yeah, no, because the a common mistake, which I think we all do, is that when we are playing with the very like weaker players with black pieces, for example, and we think, okay, we will not get automatically an advantage. So what will we do? We will take some accessible risks to win, yeah? But this is not a very correct approach. You don't need to risk. You just need to do your job. And also there are like, you can try to get some disbalance into the position. But disbalance and risk, that's not the same thing. So what did happen here? They played some Queen's Gambit declined, and black really played very, very solidly and equalized, but that's all perhaps, yeah. And I have chosen this position because here black was trying to get at least a little bit of an imbalance into the position, yeah, because we have a totally balanced pawn structure. Now black plays knight f5, and okay, well, this might be disputable whether this actually helps black or not, this knight f5, ef5, but at least it's something different. And they got into this type of endgame, which you would also say, okay, well, how can anyone win this? Yeah? But try to play it with Stockfish 5 times. Yeah, you will see. I mean, when this is, by the way, a very nice way how to persuade oneself to go on when in very boring positions. You just can, or also not only in very boring equal positions, but also when you are just much worse in some, or much better in some position, when you are not able to win it for the stronger side with Stockfish, then nothing is lost. Yeah, you can still fight even against the human player. And the game went uneventfully for a long time, and it seemed like nothing happens, more or less. Okay, now knight a7 is probably quite good. White can take, but yeah, rook a8, and then black gets to a2. But okay, well, of course, this is drawish. But for some reason, white felt that, yeah, he just kept everything on board. And then things started to happen. Now it seems that Kramnik is even worse, right? Like there is a rook on a8 or so. Objectively, it's not so. It's just equal still. And now black finally, I should probably show that this wasn't hanging. And now black found finally a plan. Knight d8, lovely, active move, right? But he went all the way to h3, grabbed on h2, and won. Yeah, well, to do this, you need a very good technique, of course. Not everyone can win equal positions like this. So we can just speak a little bit what happened here. Yeah, what was the technique? Very important thing is that there are knights on the board. Knights are beasts of the chessboard. They are animals. Yeah, they are not so rational as the other chess pieces. They bring tactics into the position. They bring concrete lines. They bring a bit of irrationality. And the other thing is that a good player, a good positional player and technician as Kramnik, he already saw that h2 is actually isolated. And I think he knew even here that sometimes this might be a plan. So like foreseeing these things is also quite important. And I also think that he was just, trying to provoke Mr. Salem a little bit for some activity on the queen side, because Salem tried to do something on the queen side. And yeah, instead of just trying to exchange all the pieces on the queen side. And now you might ask, would this work against everybody? And the answer is, of course not. But Kramnik has got this Fisherman approach. Yeah, for him it's enough that it works 2 or 3 times per 10 games. Yeah, it will still be fine with him. He will save his rating, and yeah, he will play his game. So doesn't need to work every single time. Okay, let's continue. So the Fisherman approach. Then a very interesting and nice way how to approach this is to have a look at the situation you are going through from the eyes of your opponent and ask yourself, what is he or she thinking about how the position will go? How can I use that? How can I, empathize with your opponent, but use it against him or her? Yeah, well, that's an evil thing to do, of course, but in chess, this is allowed, not in life. Yeah. You can see a very lovely picture. That this is Prince William, and he was shot by some reporter from the Sun, I think, from the side. So he looks like he's doing a very nasty sign. But in fact, from the other reporter from the front shows that he actually was showing to the journalist that he's got free kids, because yeah, he was accompanying his wife to the hospital. She gave birth, and then he went away, and he was showing like, I'm having 3 kids. Yeah, but from the side it looks very differently. And this is the same, like every chessboard looks, chessboard and chess game looks very differently from opposite perspectives. So for example, when you are playing against in round 1 and you are the stronger opponent, stronger player, you might feel boredom, you might feel lack of motivation, but of course for the weaker player, it's so much different, and it's nice to know that and nice to use it somehow. I used it against Mr. David Navarra. This is the game which we played many years ago. White is to move here, and this is a very normal line. And I think David somehow didn't feel well my psychological state of mind, and I was able to read his psychological state of mind, because here in this position the critical move is bishop f4, playing some active stuff, and the boring, dull, and uneventful move is a3, which leads to a very simple position, which might then end up in some simplifications and so. And of course, David, as a very active player, he was expecting me to go bishop f4, and he was looking forward to this wonderful fight we will have. But I knew that he is a tactician, that he wants to win, and that it will be much more annoying for him to get a game where he will have to find some advantage from nothing. Yeah, this wouldn't work against Kramnik, who would enjoy that, but against David, who really finds his strength in activity, this was a nice way how to go. So he was expecting bishop f4, was hoping to enjoy a nice stabbing fight in the middle of the board. I just played a3 instead, and the game very quickly evaporated. With my pupils, we call this the dead fish strategy, that you don't do anything active, you don't do anything overly bad or passive, you are just white, you develop yourself. When you can exchange something, you exchange that. Sometimes against some, especially tactical stronger players, this is quite annoying, and they tend to make some mistakes. It doesn't work against everyone. Yeah? So for example, David got this type of position, and he was trying to win it so much that he lost it in the end. Yeah, we can just click very quickly through the game. David was all the time, for example, here he was trying to exchange the opposite court bishops, so he would lessen the drawing potential. And he was avoiding exchanges, so he didn't get to the center so much. And yeah, I just played on, and finally, after some time, it transpired that actually black is worse. Yeah, which was surprising for both of us. I can confess that. Yeah, here black is already struggling, and in the end he lost. So that was a scenario he wasn't expecting. He was looking for an interesting fight, and he got a boring position in which he in the end was even worse. Yeah, okay. If you would like, you can try to win this one at home. It's not so easy, because white has either to mate the black king, or you might or to grab the h7 pawn, so this king wants and doesn't want to be in the corner. If he's in the corner, if the king is in the corner, he might get mated, or it might get mated. If the king goes away, the h7 pawn might be lost. So it's a very interesting position that the king doesn't know where to go, and it's probably won, which I in the end did. Yeah, so looking at the position or at the game via the glasses of your opponent or via the eyes of your opponent might be a very nice way how to actually get some kind of an edge. Yeah, for example, it's a very different situation when it's only you who wants to win, when your opponent only needs a draw. And there is a very different situation when you both need to win. Yeah, for example, in some last round of the open tournament. So sometimes you want to win, but you just let the opponent to overextend, to go for the risk, and so on and so on. So this little small psychological analysis is definitely very much used, or very much effective. Yeah, and so what can we do, or what kind of weapons we have when we are black and we are playing against the weaker opponent? I'm pretty much convinced that both extremes of playing just a very simple game as Kramnik did, but okay, that's Kramnik. There's a very, he really can squeeze water out of the stone and small advantage out of nothing. So going for that such simple positions is for most of us not very practical. On the other hand, going to like absolutely chaotic positions, going for tactical positions, and is in a way playing the Russian roulette. Yeah, because everybody can make mistakes. And again, if you are just not, second Mikhail Tal or any other tactician who is just extraordinary, and you are half forcing yourself to go for a sharp line just to, because you feel that you need to win, so you have to risk and you have to go for something chaotic, please don't do that. There are even statistics that show that that the weaker opponents score better in both of these scenarios. Yeah, because in the purely chaotic tactical position, the human margin of human error is quite high, so even the stronger player might get lost. And in the very simple positions, the stronger player might get nervous, or just there is not enough play to get enough outcome. So the best thing you might do is to go for disbalances. What are the disbalances? Disbalances are, for example, the disbalances are generally that one side has some partial advantage and the other side has another partial advantage, and those two advantages cannot be annihilated or cannot be exchanged for each other. So, for example, better pawn structure versus two bishops is a disbalance. Majority on the king side versus majority on the queen side is a disbalance, as here in this game Vtačnik Navara. I don't know, opposite colored bishops are a disbalance also, yeah, because every side has its own region of play, yeah, its own color on which it is much better. So opposite colored bishops are also kind of disbalance. When you get into a positional position as here, but the one which contains a disbalance, the better player will win. Yeah, because you can pursue your advantage. Your advantage cannot be just annihilated. It will grow bigger and bigger and bigger if your opponent doesn't respond adequately. And when it's a weaker player, there is a huge chance that he or she will not respond adequately. And yeah, and you will just win like that. Yeah, and the good thing is that weaker players quite often just don't even recognize these balances. So for example, they think, I'm still in an equal position, so I can just play normal moves. I can play the dead fish, as I called it, play normal moves, and I will get close to the draw. But that's simply not true, because normal moves mean that the other side will just push the advantage he or she has, and this will grow better, bigger and bigger. So I will show this game Vtačnik Navara. which is here. Yeah, so Mr. Vtačnik is a Slovak grandmaster who played maybe the most, the biggest number of Olympiads of any like really strong players. He's just a phenomenon. And David, of course, is the best Czech player, and he's over 2-7 or around 2-7 for a long time. So they meet each other quite a lot, and yeah, David is very skillful in beating Vtačnik with any color he's got, just by creating disbalances and using the fear as well. Yeah, because Mr. Vtačnik has a huge respect for him. So this combination of these two factors just leads to games like this. Yeah, for example, here David plays the Dutch, which he normally doesn't do, but he knows that his opponent is fearing him a bit, so he will probably not go for the most critical lines. So he's not so afraid that he will get into some huge debate. And this calculation paid off. Yeah, they got a very normal position, which is around equal and positional. And yeah, and at this moment, White also has to do something, yeah, not to get worse, because the disbalance is present. Black goes knight c5, a4, puts rooks into the center. He will find his way, yeah? But White didn't really know what to do. He was just waiting for something to happen. But okay, well, now okay, well, and as he was waiting for this in the last moves, he got more and more nervous, spending more and more time, yeah, because the armies are not in full contact. There is like nothing concrete to calculate, but there are like these shadows and ghosts, like what is Black doing and what's happening and so on. At some moment, the weaker player, or any player basically, might get so stressed without time, without energy, that he just, you know, makes something not that rational. And that's what happened here. White can still play e3 and be more or less normal, but he lashed out. And yeah, okay, you shouldn't do that with David. He got, okay, well, I'm playing through very quickly, sorry for that, but just for the feeling, yeah, ba2 is some nice thing. Now when the knight goes away, the a2 pawn, you know, there are supposed to be white pawns here, right? But they are black. Yeah, and Black won like without any problems basically. And here you can see how much the disbalance has grown. Yeah, there was a small majority on the queen side. Now it's like 4-0, and yeah, well, white resigned on move. On the move, I will have a look. 31, right? Quite shameful. But Black didn't achieve this by playing super sharp line. That would be too risky. He achieved that by creating disbalance, creating tension, letting the opponent to you know, make mistakes, to waste time, to get nervous, and then that worked. Yeah, I might even like go back one moment. There is a lady on a rope, walking a rope. This is exactly what we want with weaker players. Yeah, we want both to walk the rope. We don't want to walk a volley, yeah, because in a volley no one falls. It's almost impossible. We want them to be on a very in a situation. But this doesn't necessarily mean that the rope needs to be a tactical skirmish. We just want to give decision after decision after decision to the opponent, and once they will crack. Okay, and this is something what we were speaking about already, but let me to recapitulate from the other point of view, from the point of view of a weaker player. So what do stronger players hate? They hate the wasteland, the desert, and they hate the jungle. So they don't like when the position is like totally dry, because they don't have enough edge to overplay you. And they hate when the position is totally chaotic, because again, they lose the edge of better understanding of chess. And the totally original chaotic position can can hide mysteries that are you know, not visible even to the strongest, and there is a margin of error is the biggest. So the stronger player tries to find a middle way, a position that evolves slowly, gets both strategical and tactical factors in it, and where there is some disbalance. Yeah, so in the middle position between these two scenarios. Yeah, and then we have a completely separate topic, which is a draw offer. I really like this stone being split in half as the point of a chess game, so that's why this I'm using this this picture. Draw offers, especially from the weaker player to the stronger player, are rather risky. Yeah, because if you offer the draw even in a better position, sometimes you calculate like, okay, I'm a weaker player, but okay, I'm much better now. So I will just offer a draw and maybe he or she will take. Yeah, they almost never do. Yeah, only when they are like, you know, mated or in 2 moves or something like that. Yeah, it's very difficult. Like in situations where you ought not to play for a win, they normally don't take the draw. So you don't get the plus EV, yeah, expected value. You either draw a position which you should be playing for a win, or you get kicked away with your draw offer, and you show while showing your weakness, yeah, that you are afraid. So this is a very risky thing to do, to offer the draws in a position where you when you are better against the stronger player. So again, we will have a look at one of my one of my games, but this time from the perspective of my opponent. So this is Jan Markos. This is white to move, black to move, white took on b5, play knight b5, and offer the draw. And now Mr. Giertli, we already had this game a minute ago, so you know that he is like 2-2, 2,200. I was almost 2-6 at the moment, so there was like almost 400 ELO points difference. But white is obviously like 2 pawns up and must be winning. I mean, there is some abstract weakness of the long diagonal, but that's more or less everything. And yeah, so should I take the draw? Well, I declined, and my thinking was like this. First of all, white offers the draw, although we both know that he's much better. That must mean only one thing, that he's afraid, not afraid, he's totally scared. Yeah. The second thing which I was thinking about is that actually I'm like this 400 points up, and I knew from the computer chess that the value of 1 pawn is about 350 points or something like that. And when you add the double the bishop pair and the weak diagonal, that might compensate for the other pawn. So I was saying, okay, I'm 2 pawns down, but you know, my edge as a player plus these positional compensations might be actually enough to compensate this concrete game, not the objective evaluation of the position, of course, but in this concrete game, I might do that. And the third thing which I was thinking about, okay, so my opponent is offering a draw. If I decline and I offer the draw like 2 or 3 moves later, will he decline? What's the probability? And I answered myself that the probability is small. Yeah, that if the game continues somehow normally, I will get the possibility to offer the draw almost any time when I want. So for these 3 reasons, I played on, and we can have a look at the rest of the game. So we have led the game here. So this is the painful phase still. Yeah, I'm just much worse. Okay, e5. You know, you don't want to see such moves when you are black and without any castling and so on. And now we get to the diagrammed position. So here he offered a draw, I declined. And he got so nervous out of it that I just, played normal moves. And after some time, it actually transpired that black is mating. Oh, there was even such quite a nice queen sacrifice, because now here is rook f1, so black wins. Again, I understand that if this was a chess coaching session, we would need to go very slowly through the game, not with this speed. But I just wanted to show you the game as a kind of a movie, so that you can feel, or intuitively how it went. So basically, from the moment where white took on b5, he didn't do anything like to get forward. On the contrary, he just, he was just on the defensive side. So that might be even a little bit psychological as well. Okay, so that's about the draw offers. And maybe one of the last remarks is, please don't too harsh on yourself when something bad happens. Yeah, because always something bad happens. Well, not always, but once upon a time, you cannot really stop that. Yeah, you cannot do anything about that. Even if you are playing a very weak player and it feels like especially painful, you should just count with all these accidents and oversights and all this stuff that happen in any chess game, basically. And in such a situation, it's important that when you are the stronger player, just don't scold yourself too much. Of course, you can say to yourself, against this kind of moron, why am I worse? Why am I losing? I must be totally stupid, and all these things which people do tell to themselves. But that won't help you to your A game, right? So you should really try to stop that. Just accept the mistake as a normal part of your chess life, and just try to play as best as you can again. Yeah. This is easier to be said than done, but first of all, you should be like aware that you are angry on yourself, and secondly, you should take some time to try to like calm down very mindfully and try to get over that. Okay, a typical example which I can show you is this game which I had against Mr. Iriola, where I was so much optimistic about my chances in the Dutch that I was able to lose an exchange after 15 moves with white pieces, which is like a great thing, of course. I got into something like this, yeah, with white pieces after 15 moves. Like, congratulations against the player who is like at least nominally much weaker. And I was looking at this, and my inner dialogue cannot be reproduced without, in Slovakia after 22nd hour that would be possible, but not now. But okay, yeah, we played on, and yeah, here I'm exchange down, and it's so easy, to give up and to say, okay, that's just bad fate, or I don't know, I'm so stupid. And so when you just play on, miracles can happen. We just played on quite normally. After a while, black found out that he's actually in a time trouble, and afterwards, yeah, okay, well, here black already has to be very careful not to lose at all, which he wasn't, like, so he lost in the end. Yeah, so please try to stop this thinking that, okay, this is the end of the world when I make a mistake against a weaker player. Normally it isn't. There is, again, you can have this stockfish test in your mind. Yeah, would you win this against the stockfish? If not, just play on, please. And also, if you lose in a tournament a game against the weaker player, again, it's very important to stop the chain reaction. I have seen it so many times that that someone maybe not even loses, but draws a game and then cannot sleep, and then draws another game or loses and cannot sleep again, and does this again and again and again, and the entire tournament is spoiled. Yeah. But if you just lose one game again, even round one, that might happen to anyone. But if you can cut this chain, you can get a normal tournament again, because you will get weaker player and you get back. So again, reformulating in your mind the negative to the positive. Okay, so I will have a few rest days or a few weaker players. I might take this as my, test of character as well, and I will be back. I'm a superhero Terminator, and I will just get back. Yeah. So it's very important how we speak to ourselves and how we get where we need to go. Yeah, we should be ending to have some questions answers. So I will be really quick now. This is the guy who has made his living from this sweet little boy to a huge monster he got by grinding almost equal positions. Yeah. So when this little boy can do it, we can do it as well. Yeah. Just please be aware of the fact that when you are playing a weaker player, there is a reason why this player is weaker. Yeah. So he or she probably decides a little bit worse than you about chess. And when you will put 100 decisions in front of him, there's a bigger chance that he or she will go wrong compared to a situation when you just give 20 decisions in front of your opponent. Yeah. So just playing till the very end, be prepared, be patient, take your fisherman hat, sit there, try to go on and on, even in the end game, even try to push him or her into the second time trouble, and so on and so on. This will pay off. And of course, it will harden you as a fighter as well. And if you want to win against or score well against stronger opponents overall, like in the course of a year, of 2 years, of 5 years, please be aware that playing for a draw is not enough. Yeah, because normally when you get with such a state of mind that I want to get a draw in this game, you might get it sometimes, you will not get it other times, and in the result you will score, I don't know, 20-30% of points, which is just awfully little. Yeah. But if you come up there with the approach that, okay, if this guy or girl plays this badly, I just want to beat them, then you will win sometimes, because you are not putting the glass ceiling on for yourself on the half a point mark, and you will just, sometimes you will win, you will probably lose more, but overall you will get better results. Yeah. This is a very typical thing what many weaker players do, that they just come to a single game, they know that they have white pieces, the opponent is a bit stronger, so they will just offer a draw very quickly and go away, and they're happy that they have earned something, but in fact the black game is waiting around the corner, right? So when you look at it from the perspective, there is no chance that they will get into some normal score, like overall. So really, we need to go for win. Yeah, at least in every wide game. Yeah, to get a normal score. And that's why, for example, the very strong players, when you look at super tournaments, everyone tries to beat Carlsen, because it just simply pays off. Yeah, like there are not so many people who are just playing for a draw even against the best. Yeah, they just try because they know that overall this is the best strategy. Okay, this is like in general what I wanted to share with you today, and I'm very interested in your questions. So I will just stop sharing the screens, and please, Maria, shall I look into the chat, or how do we do this?
Yes, but now we don't have a question. Just you. A second. what program is this? Yeah, it was for the first chess base, I think. Yeah, but
That was chess base. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Then second one, just a second. Or please, girls, ladies, you can ask also now if you want. Just turn on your microphone.
So I had a second part to my question, to the one you just, is it all right if I ask? In some of the softwares, you can actually sort of play against yourself, which I tend to find it quite daunting because, you know, you make a move and I guess there's a black you have to make. So you kind of play against yourself in a way. And so the computer will analyze is it a good move or not. But I'm just wondering, since seeing that and since, you know, about looking the mirror on the other side, is that something that would be best way to practice?
No. So if I understand that correctly, like playing against oneself and having the computer analyze
Yeah,
the
so like because I was like this afternoon I was sort of take a break and there's one is called like analysis, and so you move, say if I was white, you make a move and then actually nothing happens, so you would have to move the black pawn and the black, yeah, the computer's analyzing both sides of it. Yeah.
Well, normally this is what we do when we analyze a game, basically. Yeah. So for example, I have a game which I have played and I want to know how well or how badly I played. So I will sit down even without the computer and just look for both sides and have some analysis, and then come afterwards. I have come to some point of view or some result. I will come to computer and will test this result. Yeah. So not after every move, but after I have done some bigger portion of work. And if you want, for example, to analyze an opening you want to play against your opponent, for example, in the afternoon, and you also want to cheer you up a little bit, yeah, you can take the side of your opponent and have the computer play against you. Yeah, so you will get the plans which you might use in the afternoon, and also the feeling that your position is almost unbeatable. Yeah, so these are the two positive things about playing the computer in this way. Yeah, so that's maybe something you might use. Okay, we have a question in the chat from Mariana Huda, who asks, what about opening repertoire against the weaker players? If someone plays classic boring opening or where a draw can be forced, does she need some additional repertoire for such like cases? Yes, please. Normally, what I do, and I think what is quite reasonable to do, is to have your pawn structures where you feel well, not exact opening lines. Yeah. So for example, we have a Najdorf pawn structure, or we have a Karlsbad pawn structure or so. When you understand the pawn structure and you know which pieces to exchange, which to keep, where to put the pieces, and so on, then you can sidestep very easily. Yeah, when it's not a very, very, very tactical line. Yeah. So for example, I wouldn't recommend playing neither the exchange Slav against the weaker opponent with black pieces, nor the dragon line, yeah, because one is too chaotic and the second one is too dry. If you remember, that was the slide about the desert and the jungle. We want to avoid both of that. But when you get a normal position which has got some strategical and tactical content in it, there is always a way how to sidestep. Yeah, there is a very huge misconception, I think, that the chess theory is like straightforward and deep. In fact, it branches so much that you will ever always get a way how to sidestep without losing too much of an edge or playing voluntarily bad moves. Yeah, so when you are smart about that, you will definitely find ways to sidestep. Okay, we have some other questions. Should we be concerned about our rating numbers? No. If you are not like, a professional that really needs to get the result yeah, I would just don't care too much about that, because rating is like a shadow. Yeah, your chess strand is the first, and the rating follows everywhere your chess strand goes. So if you are playing well, the rating will go up. There's no reason to care about the rating more than we care about the shadow. How can someone recover after a whole year of no chess when he is over 2000? What should he do first? Well, please, if you are going to play a tournament, please be sure that your tactic is not too rusty, yeah, because that's the first thing that goes away when we are not practicing. Yeah, tactics is simply. So please solve tactical puzzles. Try to be evil to your mind and torture it a little bit with some examples and so on. Also, please play some training games. That's like, I think, totally crucial. Without that, you will get to the first game and feeling like, you know, in a different country or something like that. Yeah, and you will need time to feel well at the chessboard, and that might cost you, I don't know, the points in the first two games. So it's much better to have this this adaptation period in the games, in the training games, and come heated up to the tournament. So please do that. And also, especially with black pieces, please make sure that you don't have like total holes in your repertoire, because it's very unpleasant to come to the event and you will find out that like everyone kills you in one line. Yeah, that's just it's not fun. So it's a good idea to just play something that holds at least, you know, so. Okay.
Can I share something on this theme and on this question? Because I was in the situation of playing after 20 years of no playing, about 2000 ELO. And what I was very surprised, okay, I made some puzzles before that tournament. Okay, I lost a lot of points, of ELO points, but I was surprised that I was functioning on on strategy. For example, I was playing final games very well, which I wasn't. I didn't have this this thought about me when I was previously playing. But all these things remained all these years. All this knowledge is still functioning. But of course, now the tactic part, not at the beginning of the game. That was a completely disaster. But trust yourself in what you previously knew and what you previously was good at.
Yeah, thank you. There are some moments which are, I think, very, very interesting. First of all, yes, you should expect that you will lose rating, and that's a normal thing, and you shouldn't be surprised or annoyed about that. That's a normal thing. And secondly, strategy is like cycling. Yeah, we don't forget to cycle, and we don't forget strategy normally. So yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, okay, there's another question. Yes.
Oh, yeah, so just because I noticed those questions being asked, but I wanted to speak a bit more because it's hard to explain. But what would you advise on how to sort of, I guess, practice this and sort of actively improve in chess? So I'll explain my situation where I've started like roughly maybe sort of 2 months ago, really got into it. I started playing the games and I do the blitz and the puzzles, but I find myself even still practicing, even doing the games, like sort of not playing very well. So I thought, oh, maybe I need to study like the opening principles and everything on chess.com. And I'm wondering whether it's the idea to study theoretically really well and then get into it, or if it's all a bit of a mixture, and how long should someone actually actively play in order to be well, because I read someone, for example, Magnus plays like 6 hours a day, which obviously I don't have the luxury of having. But like, what would you advise in the case on to basically improve so I would have the confidence to play in tournaments? Because that's the thing I find myself sort of, I don't think I'm ready to play because I'm not good yet. So I study all the material. I tried, like, you know, all the books. I'm like, oh, do I need to study all of this theoretically? And just, so it's all a bit of wishy-washy, really, if I'm not really sure if I'm doing the right thing. Yeah.
Well, before giving you any kind of advice, I would probably ask you a few questions, yeah, because that's very important to know what situation you are in. So first of all, how strong are you, rating wise, let's say, and second, what are your aims? That's also very important.
Yeah, so good question, because I think I have been playing daily, but for some reason Lighter still puts me on the question mark, so I'm not so sure why. But I think I'm just looking now. I think my rating at the moment, see, it's like in the bunny rabbit, it's like 1065 or the target. But when I go to chess.com, it's like 176 and it varies because when I'm doing the puzzle, then I lose if I play a bit of game. So I try to practice like daily, you know, yeah. So like yeah,
I understand.
And I've forgotten the other question, which was
like what are your aims basically?
So I guess it sounds a bit sort of dreamy, but I think I do really want to play, become like a female grandmaster. I think that is my aim. I think I've always wanted to play chess when I was younger, but it was sort of deemed like my sister was smart, so therefore the focus was sort of her, and then she gave up on chess. So I think I had this insecurity, but since I started playing about 3 months ago, and I did it because I just became I burnt out doing work, and I thought, you know what, I just want to focus on what makes me happy, and I started getting into it in chess. So that's my aim. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the answers. Well, basically, I think what you really need is praxis. So I wouldn't wouldn't have any kind of fear to go for a tournament, not online but a normal tournament, basically, because also like meeting the community is also very important. You will get in touch with people who can then, you know, help you to get further. That's a good and lovely thing to have. We all in FIDE we say Genzuna Sumus, we are one family, and this is also, we have this community aspect, which is also quite important. And it's quite difficult to study independently effectively, because you need some kind of guidance to do that effectively. So really, please do what you enjoy. So if you enjoy playing, just play, and try to get to the community which can then help you to go forward. That would be my advice. Okay, I know we are a bit over time, so please feel free to, you know, go if you need to, because we all have our duties, but I'm really glad to answer the rest of the questions as well. So there was a game about there was a question about fatigue. When you play and after a few hours you get tired and you don't have the energy to clinch the game, what should you do to motivate yourself? Well, first of all, it's no shame to have some, you know, sugar with you, some or something that can actually give you some swift energy. That's quite often very, very useful. Then it's no shame to actually save your energy. You don't need to work on when you are playing the game and it's your opponent's move. You don't need to calculate everything all the time, because it's simply, you know, that might be wasting the energy, because there are so many possibilities that basically that wouldn't be really helpful, and you would just lose a kind of. So take your rest if you have enough time on your clock, and the position is like not totally, you know, clear. Just take your time. And thirdly, well, doing some sports helps as well to save energy. I'm not a good example of that, but okay, I'm trying to do at least something, because but you can see Magnus Carlsen, he's having so much energy. when you see Magnus Carlsen close to, I don't know, Ruslan Ponomariov, you see the difference, yeah? That's another thing. And then, yeah, well, then there is part of a sheer willpower, yeah, that you just talk to yourself and you say, okay, I want to win this. I'm here for, I don't know, 4 hours. I don't want to lose what I've done, the good things that I have achieved for just 5 minutes of lack of concentration or something like that. Because a chess game is like a string. The weakest part of it is what defines the strength of the entire string. So that's important, yeah. But I understand. I mean, sometimes we are so tired that we just have kind of a shutdown, yeah, that we don't are there anymore, yeah, or not in our best shape. And to avoid that, we just have to get the energy. And I've said spoke about several methods how to do it. So, okay, then my dear friend Nikki is asking, hi Janko, if you played against Magnus with white, would your state of mind be really that you are going to win? No secret intentions to draw? Well, I have had a lot of secret intentions to draw in my life, honestly. Yeah, that's because we all fight that. But if I was playing Magnus Carlsen, I would get my best shirt and the tie, and I will go there and I will try to beat him, him up. Yeah, just because it would be such a huge, celebration of chess for me that I would just try to do that. We know how it would end. Yeah, that I have no. I would probably get beaten with intentions of draw or without them. That's not very important, but I would really try to enjoy it, and I would definitely try to beat him. Yeah, what do we have? How many hours of learning chess a day would you suggest to a 2000 ELO to achieve 200 in 2 months? We are mainly referring to the level of the player. I'm not sure that there is a way how to guarantee such a huge improvement in just 2 months. Yeah, I would take a year for that. And many players make such a mistake that they put a lot of energy into the training for some relatively short period of time, and then they give up. Yeah, and it's like, trying to go on some kind of a diet and then saying, no, I'm eating normally, and then again going for a diet and so on. It's such a I don't think this is the best approach. Yeah, you should take as much training hours, or as many training hours as you are able to hold for a long time. Yeah, for example, for a year or 2. Yeah, if you are able to guarantee that you will just work, I don't know, 8 hours per week or 5 hours per week, take just 5. Yeah, but then stick to that. It's better to take less and stick to that for a longer period of time than to take more and then be totally exhausted after 2 months and say to yourself, okay, I'm giving up. I'm not doing this stuff anymore. Yeah, so please, consistency is more important than the amount, and then it will come. I don't know where it will stop, but definitely 2-2 is within the reach of most of us. Okay, I think
yes. Yeah. Any other question?
Sure.
Would you advise for having coaching? Because some people, suggest you don't have to, but I guess actually it's quite important to have a coach. But would you advise actually to have a coach? Yeah.
Again, it depends on your motivation, on your budget, on many other things. But normally, I would start with some kind of a peer, of a more experienced peer, yeah? who is like willing and enjoying chess and could help from time to time. Getting coaches might get expensive. Yeah, depends on the level, of course. But if the motivation is strong and you are willing to pay the costs, basically, then getting a good coach is a very effective way. Yeah, because what the coach does for you is not that he or she does the work for you, but he can take care that the work you do is not wasted. Yeah, so it will canalize effectively the work, which is just a great thing. So yeah. But this is really something at the beginning of the career, this more experienced friend can do for you as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think we are over time. I will if you have any other questions in your mind, I will type my my email into the chat, so if you can just write me anytime. And if okay, to meeting group chat. Okay, so this is my email, and if anything springs up, you just please write me an email and I will try to answer.
Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoy, and see you next time.
Thank you for coming. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.